So for today's real estate development jargon, I want to talk about the term absorption, which is another word for leasing velocity or sales velocity, and it has to do with the speed at which a project is leased up or sold out. So I'm going to talk to you about what is absorption and then also why it matters. So like we said, absorption is a term for the speed at which a project leases or sells. So think about it like we talk about cars traveling miles per hour or people travel in feet per minute. It is a measure of progress over time. And so for rental projects, for leasing projects, for commercial real estate really, if you have an office project, you may say that, hey, we're leasing 20,000 feet per month or 1,000 feet per week. And that's square feet, amount of space leased in a given period of time. On the apartment side, you may talk in units per week or units per month, and that's the number of homes that are leased up in a given period of time. This also applies on the for sale side, where they'll talk about sales velocity, which is if you've got 100 homes in a subdivision, how many homes have you sold per month or per week? So again, it is kind of a measure of speed, how much progress you've made in a given period of time. And the reason it matters is because when you're talking about a project, especially on the commercial side or the for lease side, you're going to do most of your construction and spend most of the money before the project is built. And absorption only has to do with new construction project. It's not if you buy an existing asset, it's only new construction. So for new construction, you're going to spend most of the money on the building up front, and then you're going to lease it up over time. And when you get to stability, when the building is fully leased or mostly leased, those revenues are used to pay off your investors and your lenders, and those revenues more than cover the costs of the entire project. But the problem is, between when you finish construction and when you're fully leased, there's a period of time, it's called the absorption period, where your revenues are coming in slower than your expenses are going out. So you've already spent all the money, which means you've already taken the full loan, and you have to start paying that back. And if you don't have the revenue from the leases to pay that back, you've got a problem. And so when you build your pro forma, you estimate how long it's going to take to lease up a project. And so you know kind of what you need to do to meet your debt obligations and your investor obligations. And there's also another way you can actually use the loan to pay for some of that interest, and it's called interest carry. So you can take on additional debt just to pay back the loan, pay back the interest during the lease up period, because you know, hey, we're only going to lease 20 units per month, and it's going to take 36 months to fully lease up. So therefore, during that first 3 years, we're going to need a little extra money to pay that interest, and that's the interest carry. You're actually using loan proceeds or taking additional loan proceeds to pay for the interest on that loan. And so the whole thing is, if you misjudge your absorption period, you're going to have a problem potentially. And if you don't have the money, or if you didn't take enough interest carry, or if you don't have enough contingency in your budget, you're going to have to start paying out of pocket as the developer. On the for sale side, it's also very similar. If you've got 100 homes in a neighborhood subdivision that you're building, you're not going to build all 100 homes before you sell them, but you are going to put in most of the streets and the landscaping and the water and sewer infrastructure. And so a lot of those costs go in up front, and so you need to know how long it's going to take to sell those homes. And if you get that wrong, if your absorption is off, low really, if it's high, you're fine. But if it's low, you could have a problem. So that is absorption and why it matters. If you've got any questions about absorption, please drop them in the comments below.